Coach. It's Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. Ordinarily, last 5 years, you'd be facing an opponent for the first time in a season with just a week to prepare. Obviously, much different this year with a week off and having a rematch with Notre Dame. How different is that for you just from a game planning standpoint?
I mean, it's different. Just we got our players to be able to, again, get some rest. This is the 20th week we've been going. And so from mentally, I think it was good as much as anything. I don't know. I just, if they're doing it too, I don't know whether it's good or bad or what have you. But I don't know if it was different or not. Just treat it as a normal bye week, in regards to practice schedule and time that we give our players, off after Thursday and try to let them have a little bit of a life. It's been a really challenging year as we've all experienced this together. So, but a little wind in their sail probably for all of us. I got a chance to go play for a championship and play a great program like Notre Dame. So give us some time to self-scout and let's see where we're at from a tendency standpoint, and then work on ourselves fundamentally and just try to get a little bit better, between now and the time we play.
Brent, this is
Go ahead, Matt.
I think Jake posted on Instagram that his season had been cut short. Is he for sure out for the year? And then how is he holding up mentally and physically with everything that happened?
Yeah, he's out for the year. So had a rod and a bunch of screws put in. So hate that for him. These guys work so hard and tremendous investment. And there's a lot of finality emotionally as much as anything when something that you love to do and have worked, so hard for is taken away from you before it's supposed to be, so to speak. So, good thing for him is he's got a home here and his mama and his sister. So he got loved up on pretty good. But and again, he's had a really strong year. Certainly not perfect, but very proud of him, getting graded close to 85% on the year, second on the team in tackles and production points per play that he's played is in the top 5, on our defense. So had a really strong year, got plenty of things to improve in the off season and a lot to look forward to. And, but fortunately for us, we have some, we're building our depth there and what have you, but he's doing good, trying to keep him engaged in those kind of things like you do, for anyone that's hurt and they can't play.
Hey, Brent, Lawton Swan with Clemson Sports Talk. So when the team's back's against the wall like Notre Dame's was in that final drive in the fourth quarter, the perception is typically they're going to pretty much go to their what they feel like they're best at. How beneficial going into this game is it looking back on that final 8-play drive and recognizing that they were most likely doing what they felt most comfortable with?
Well, it's always good to get DNA, and they have it on us, we have it on them, and still comes down to execution. I don't think it was a big surprise, on the things that they did. Certainly during that drive, it's really more affirmation. They're going to lean on. Starts with players first, their playmakers, and then some of the schemes. Again, it's nothing that's necessarily earth-shattering as much as it is about execution and getting the ball to players, getting in their hands to make plays. So there's a lot to teach from, certainly for this game from that game, but it's we've used it since the game was over, to try to improve and get better and get our guys to correct mistakes and things of that nature.
Just Trevor again. A lot has been made, obviously, of the fact that you were missing Skalski and Davis and Mike Jones in that first meeting. But Xavier Thomas played just 11 snaps in that game. He was kind of working his way back. How much of a difference can he make just with setting the edge against the run and trying to contain Ian Book?
Yeah, Xavier's improved. The more he's played, he's gotten, better as the year's gone on. So, he along with, a number of other guys that have, guys that we feel like have continued to make improvement, are going to be vital. The run game's a big deal for everybody that plays the game of football. Certainly Notre Dame's no exception. They ran it, with success against us last time, and so we've got to do a better job, in that department, whether it's in the fits or up front, getting off of blocks, all of those things. So Xavier, we're going to need him to to play well.
Hey, Brent, this is Anna with Clemson 24/7. Notre Dame's ability to pick up the blitz seemed, just from an amateur perspective, like they did a pretty good job. Just how much of that was the size and capability, I guess, of a really experienced offensive line and a running back that seemed to do a really good job as well? And then how much of it was, I don't know, I guess technique or mistakes or on y'all's end?
Yeah, I don't know about mistakes and technique and all that. I thought they did a great job. We got to do better. We got to win one-on-ones. They're good, and they're in this position because, again, as we always say, it starts up front, and they're seasoned, experienced, strong, physical. They're good, and they did a better job than we did in that way. Felt like we disrupted them to a certain degree, but we didn't finish a lot of plays. And whether that's, again, beating a guy one-on-one, when we have your limited opportunities, you got to make plays, getting guys down, collapsing the pocket, staying in front of the quarterback, all of those things. But I thought it was a real credit to them that they blocked us. We weren't good enough.
Brett from Clemson SI, piggybacking off of what Anna just asked you, in Book as a quarterback, his ability to just sort of, buy an extra second or two or a half a second. I mean, how much better is he at that than some other guys you faced in football this year?
I just really compare it to the growth that he's had since the last time we played him in Dallas. And certainly it was a couple of years ago, and it's a lesson to everybody. Just guys get better the more you play. And again, the 2 year ago, Jamie Skalski is nowhere close to this year's healthy version of Jamie Skalski. They're on different planets. So Ian's the same way, much more comfortable and confident and experienced. He's been there, done that with everything. So, his ability to extend plays really all year, create plays, and maybe it's just a simple throwaway, a simple play that looks like a routine second long throwaway. And that's winning from an offensive perspective, as opposed to taking a sack or throwing the ball, putting the ball in jeopardy, something like that. So he plays a very clean game and sees the field very well, understands defenses, and then they do a great job of surrounding him, complimenting him with both scheme and players. He's got a great supporting cast as well, but he's playing at a very, very high level right now.
Coach, it's Trevor again. The freshman tight end, 87, had a big game against you in the first meeting. I know he was highly touted as a recruit, but is he a guy that you looked at as a potential threat going into that game?
Yeah, absolutely. We knew he was the most talented guy they had from a pure athletic standpoint, and he was a feature guy. Getting him the ball. All their tight ends are good, and so yeah, we knew. Hoping to play him a little better this time. So he made some really nice plays, and they were all competitive plays, and he worked open a couple times on some benders, crossing routes, and the quarterback put it right on the money, and we're in tight coverage. And again, when you're playing against really good teams, the margin for error isn't much. You got to play more precise than they do. I thought they played more precise when it counted, in a very close, tight game. He makes a play late. We're a little bit tired underneath, and we don't make a tackle. That was a huge play, close to a 30-yard gain on a simple crossing route. So we got to do a better job, whether it's covering or it's tackling them. But he's certainly not the only one.
Hey, Brent, David Hale with ESPN. Apologies for kind of veering off topic a bit here, but I know you've been through this before. And it certainly, according to reports, looks like Notre Dame's defensive coordinator might be taking a head coaching job in the near future. Again, I know you go through these conversations every year. I'm just wondering how your viewpoint or mindset on other head coaching jobs that might be available to you has changed over the years. Do you get to a point in your career where you start thinking like, hey, maybe it's now or never, or is it just this year no different than any other year that you've kind of been mentioned in different job rumors?
I mean, you can't control, what other people are saying. Certainly you can control what's sitting in front of you. And again, another great opportunity that we have. Again, probably the most challenging year in coaching that I've been a part of. All things considered, couldn't be more proud of the leadership and the attitude and the work that our players and our staff have put into this season to get to this point. And so that's really, where your focus is. And you're so busy, to be honest, you don't really sit around and have, this game plan for that. And, got a great, situation, for our team right now. And, again, what's in front of us. So that's really where all the focus is right now.
Where do you think that mindset for you kind of comes from? Because I think it's probably not just coaching, it's every profession. You kind of want to see how far you can push things and how far you can go. And you have, I don't know if patience is the right word, but you certainly haven't kind of pursued things just for the sake of pursuing them. Has that been sort of a determined mindset in your perspective?
I think it starts first with having an appreciation for what you do have, the people that you work with, the players that you coach, where you live, where you coach, the opportunity to win. Certainly I'm well compensated, but it's a lot more than that for me. And it's being in a place where you're valued, and again, you feel like you're bringing something to the table. And it's just, I just have a gratefulness that maybe, maybe other people don't. There's not many Clemsons, there's not many Oklahomas, there's, Kansas State was home for me, so I've been very fortunate to just be at a few places that are great opportunities for coaches. So I've always had a perspective that gives me clarity in that way. And maybe if I was, in a cesspool or, somewhere that was a hot mess, maybe that's different. But I do value, where I'm at, who I'm with, and again, what we're doing here at Clemson. It's a special place.
Hey, Coach Lawton Swann, sort of piggybacking off of that a little bit, looking back on your playing days, your coaching days, when did you fall in love truly with the defensive side of the ball and what you do? Do you remember when that became the thing for you that you said, this is what my focus is going to be?
Just as a GA at Kansas State, working for Bob Stoops and Jim Leavitt, really two of the great mentors and tremendous football coaches and ultra competitors. Just I couldn't ask for a better example. And then Coach Snyder would challenge you daily to have answers, and he really planted a lot of seeds for the strategist and the strategy part of the game, and manipulation and trying to trick an offense, if you will, and all the while still maintaining fundamentals and toughness and effort and those types of things. So had a great starting point at Kansas State. Couldn't have asked for a better way to come into the profession and with the leadership, that I was underneath. So they just challenged you every day, and just, it was easy to love, what you were doing and who you were doing it with,
Brent, do you know if James Skalski will be 100% this week, and if Kane Patterson is needed to step up in some kind of role? How do you feel about his readiness?
Yeah. So Jamie, I feel like I don't know if he's 100%. I don't know. I don't ask that question. Sometimes, you got to be careful to ask questions that you're not prepared to hear the answer to. So I live in a positive world, but no, we're hopeful. He's practicing today, and we'll try to continue. He's very ambitious, getting back as early as he did, and just a wonderful job Danny Poole and the staff in our training room have done with him, and certainly Jamie having the love for the game and the passion for the game and wanting to be out with his teammates. Is a huge credit to him as well, getting back. But we feel like he's gonna be close to, if not 100%. And then Kane's had a really good couple of weeks, and getting more reps and feeling more confident, and just saw some really good, strong improvement through the bye week, and just a different level of, preparedness, and he's worked hard all year, but it's different though when I got to go to practice today and perform. So proud of him too, and he's coming along well.
Got time for one or two more with Coach Venables?
Coach, Brad again from Clemson SI. When you look at this receiving core for Notre Dame, I know the first go round, they weren't being really talked about much in terms of being a super dynamic group, but they look pretty good to me. Last time you faced them, what do you think of them?
Yeah, they've been pretty good all year. We watch all the tape, so we felt all along there between their tight ends and their big, strong receivers, two big guys, 11 the transfer, and 88. They've played really well, and then seen them getting better all year too. 11 just got there, and again, 88's in a new role, having lost, I guess it was Claypool a year ago. And so just like any team, hopefully when you're doing things the right way and the players are investing and working hard, you'll see an improvement from the beginning of the year to the end. And you certainly have seen that. That's what the best players and the best teams do. They improve incrementally week to week, even through failure. And really overall as an offense, they've really improved and have found an identity, and have tremendous balance in what they do. And but I've got great appreciation for how hard and tough and competitive that they play. They make a lot of competitive plays, both outside and inside both. So it's a real challenge to you to match up to them without question.
We'll take one more for Coach.
Hey, Brent, this is Anna again. With Myles Murphy and Bryan Bresee, do you think that having faced Notre Dame's offensive line and just kind of playing in a big time game like that on the road, that experience will help them this time around?
Yeah, absolutely. You learn under fire, and certainly really proud of those guys, even in defeat in that game. So many guys like Trenton Simpson played 75 snaps. Jake played 78 snaps. Balin played close to 80. That's not including the special teams. Those guys all played. Bryan too, covering punts, and they learned a lot about themselves. We learned a lot about us, and where we got to get better and where we got to improve. And so some of it's a humbling learning experience, but no doubt that those guys, learned that, again, the margin for error, the physicality, the precision that you got to bring in both the run and the pass. It's a big deal, man. You play championship type of football. You got to be, you got to be able to match blow for blow, to have a chance to win the game. So, those guys have gotten better. Sometimes that's not real clear until you have time to kind of stop and go back and reflect and go through cut-ups and stuff like in January or what have you once the season's over. But remarkably, you've been able to see, in a very clear way, just this, great improvement from a number of players. I think we had 23 guys that started, a college football game this year, which is, the most that we've had in any given year. And the experience that all these young players, in particular the guys that you mentioned, freshmen, the next rep is the most reps they've ever taken in college, constantly breaking, sound barriers, if you will, in that regard. But there's no doubt that they learned a lot about themselves and where they're a little bit short and things that they need to get better at. we've worked hard at doing exactly that.